Hi guys, it's Chris, Cork and Crown, back in the cider shed. Going to try another cider. So the last cider I did was, of course, Strongbow, a classic, and I thought I'd follow that up with something completely different. Completely different. So what I'm going to try to do is a, we talked about interventionism and non-interventionism. Interventionism, is that a word? It is now. So we're going to try something from Little Pomona, another Herefordshire producer. Lots of Herefordshire cider producers on this program. There you go again. On this whatever this is. So we got this guy. Here you go, Old Man and the Bee from Little Pomona. Big bottle, still cider. It is 7.2%. So again, getting up towards wine territory, but I think these guys would classify this as a wine. I think it's a wine but made with apple juice instead of grape juice. I think that's valid. Cider seems to get lumped in a lot with beer. Not that there's anything wrong with beer, but cider is in fact bears no relation to beer making, cider making. It has an awful lot to do with wine making. How you press apples is very different. They're not as soft, obviously, as grapes. Grapes, you can press them gently, and they will rupture, and you'll get juice out of them. With apples, it's much more difficult. You literally have to mash them up to a pulp before you can press them, and that was almost the technology that limited cider making. The fact that you had to do all this to in order to extract the juice, whereas with grapes it was much easier. So that's probably one of the reasons why wine became a lot more popular, because you needed less technologies or effort to actually extract juice to ferment it. Anyway, so that's this guy. Nice label, Little Pomona. I think there's something to do with the Ramones there. Little Ramona is a line from one of the songs by the Ramones, and I think I saw something referenced in their website about that. And I'm a Ramones fan, and my daughter is in fact called Lily Ramona. For similar reasons. So there you go. So we have something in common, I guess, already. Let's open this up. Yep, so no noise whatsoever, as this is a still cider. So all cider would have been still originally. You wouldn't, I think we talked earlier once in an earlier video about glass technology not being where it needed to be for sparkling beverages to be put inside glass. They would just explode, and cider would basically, if you leave it to ferment, it'll just ferment dry. The fructose etc. in there is totally fermented out by yeast if you let it. So you'll always end up with a dry cider if you just leave it to do its thing. A dry still cider if you leave it to do its thing. So yeah, dry cider is the oldest form of cider by some margin. So this is made from 3 varietals. Let's have a look at this colour. See that? That's quite a nice gold, hint of amber, nice deep gold though. Slight haze. So I mean, this is going to be unfiltered for sure. The varietals in this are Harry Masters Jersey, Ellis Bitter, and Foxwhelp. I'm assuming the Foxwhelp's there to bring acidity because it is the most acid of the varietals as far as I'm aware, renowned for it. They use a lot of their own apples from their own orchard. They only released their first cider in 2017, I think, so it hasn't been on the market for that long. They've got a Canadian guy working with them now, who helps with the cider making and the blending and the barrel aging and all that other stuff that they're into now. So yeah, really interesting producer. Let's give it a sniff. When I think of sulphur, I think more of like volcanic rather than eggy. Yeah, although you can get that, but that's kind of how I distinguish between the two. I feel like there's sort of a slightly honeyed character on the nose as well, like chestnut honey or something like that. I don't know if that's my imagination because of the colour maybe, but I got a hint of that. There's also some apple lurking in there as well, which there always is. I mean, it seems boring to say it smells like apples, but you know, there's apple in there. There's no getting around it. But not green Malik, not Granny Smith. We're talking about rich, ripe, red apples that have sat maybe for a few days or weeks in a basket in a shed. You know, if you've ever smelt that. My mum keeps apples in a basket in her shed because she's got trees. She gets too many apples, doesn't know what to do with them, so puts them in the shed in a basket and then uses them, you know, over time. Okay. It smells a little bit... You can't exactly smell acidity, but it smells like it's got some decent acidity in there as well. Let's give it a taste. Nice tannin. So astringent, squeaky. This is the third time I've done it. It cut me off. I just tasted it, I believe. So I was talking about the astringency. But it's a soft astringency, so that's squeakiness, that drying element on your mouth. Soft, hard tannins. Soft tannins give you that sort of bitterness, but that's not a bad thing. You know, bitterness in beer is a good thing. People add hops to bring bitterness because it brings balance. It's got like a lemony, I say lemon, but I think like a soft yogurt acidity, which is really nice. Like a dairy yogurty acidity, which is great. It's got minerality. There's definitely apple in there. There's something that makes me think of honey. There's no sugar, but it's got the elements of honey without the sugar, like a chestnut honey. That's where my brain wants to take me. So I'm going to let my brain take me there. It has like a chestnut honey flavour, even though there's no sugar. If you're into natural wines, then I think you'd really like this. If you like dry wines, natural wines, you'd really like this. It's a million miles from the Strongbow that we tried. It's my synapses are firing in a way that they absolutely weren't. Well, my synapses were firing when I tasted the Strongbow, but for the wrong reasons. Yeah, they're firing for the right reasons now. It's got great structure. I'd want to pair it with something though. I'd want to pair it with. I mean, I'm going to go cheese. I'm always going to go cheese because that's my other thing. That's my other life. And I'd pair it with a hard cheese, something with fat, because of those tannins. You want something with fat, which is oily, to balance out the squeakiness of the tannins. They offset one another. It's also got good acidity and it's bone dry. So I want to pair it with something which has actually got quite... You can go like with like acidity for acidity, but I'm going to go the opposite. I'm going to go something which is low acid and has sweetness, which is the opposite of this in many ways. That would be an Alpine cheese, something like Comté, Gruyere. Something like a Comté, which is low acid and has a sweetness about it for reasons I'm not going to go into here. Maybe I'll talk about it at some point at a later date. I think that the sweet with the sour, the fat with the astringency would work brilliantly well. But I think I want to have something with this to bring it to life in many ways. I think it would be enhanced with the food stuff. Unfortunately, I don't have any Comté in the house. I'll have to do some more cheese pairings. I think I'm going to have to grab some cheese from work and then pair it with some cider from work at some point. Anyway, there you go. So, little Pomona, Old Man and the Bee. Worth getting a hold of. Worth getting a hold of any of this stuff, actually. It's all really interesting. Anyway, on that note, I'd like to say thanks for watching and cheers.